Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name is Bobby. Guys, in today's video I want to talk about how I feel after reincorporating animal products into my diet again. For you that are new to this channel, I have been vegan for 4 years, but lately I felt really bad on the plant-based diet. Unfortunately, I have to say, ideologically, ethically, my heart was still in the vegan movement, if you will, but physically I just couldn't take it anymore. I decayed. A little quick recap here. I acquired a lot of injuries. I felt overall fatigue, weakness, muscle cramping, tooth decay as well. I never mentioned this, but my teeth became so sensitive and unfortunately I lost a tooth as well. It decayed to that degree that it had to be taken out, and now I have a crown. So I lost a tooth on veganism. Overall my libido decreased, my overall life force decreased, I have to say. My overall joy for life decreased as well, and I just couldn't recover on a plant-based diet. I tried everything. I tried to incorporate every plant-based food, any plant-based solution. I tracked all my macros, all my micros, but unfortunately it didn't work. So therefore I had to make a shift. It was very hard initially, but after seeing the effects, I know that I am doing the right thing for me at this moment. So, as for right now, I started out with eggs. First I had a boiled egg, and then I said I want to try it raw. I want to try an experiment. I'm gonna eat raw eggs for 7 days straight. After those 7 days, after that week of eating one raw egg every single morning, I can say that I felt rejuvenated. That is just the case. Overall, my cramps started decreasing, my mental focus started coming back, and my strength in the gym increased as well. On top of that, my libido increased tremendously, my girlfriend was very happy, and for me personally, I experienced sex much more intense, much more pleasurable to have sex again. Before that, it seemed like a struggle. Very often I would find myself having sex, but not being in the moment. My mind would wander off and I wouldn't be in the present moment really enjoying it. But after that week, I can say that it truly was amazing. I felt like a 14-year-old. If you're new to this channel, you do not know that I've been struggling with digestive issues over the last year basically. Not only digestive issues, but elimination issues as well. I had diarrhea for 8 months straight. After that week, for the first time in 8 months, I had solid stool. It fixed my digestive issues straight away. It was absolutely amazing to see. But after that week, I encountered an ethical dilemma, if you will. I wasn't alright with eating those animal products because in my heart, in my mind, I was still vegan. I wanted to be vegan more than anything. And a little side note here, I never enjoyed eating eggs. Actually, I went on this raw egg journey because I didn't want to enjoy it at all. I just wanted to gulp it down and observe the physical effects. This has nothing to do with some sort of pleasurable experience that I was seeking, some sort of craving that I had for animal products. Quite the opposite. I just wanted to see and to observe if there is a physical benefit. Hence, I made the decision. I chucked it down every morning. And in the end, I have to say that I felt so much better. But after those 7 days, I couldn't take it anymore. I wanted to be vegan. I hated that I had to eat animal products, and therefore I said, this is it. I am returning to the plant-based diet. This is just some sort of impulse. Maybe I'm just not certain. I really have to see how I feel on the plant-based diet again to truly know if this is just some sort of placebo effect or if there is really something to it. So I went plant-based again for 3 days straight. In those 3 days, my digestion got wrecked again. The diarrhea came back. The overall fatigue came back straight away, and my gym performance declined. I would find myself in the gym just so demotivated. I was looking at the weights and I said to myself, I'd rather do some stretching or I'd rather do some yoga. I couldn't look at the weights anymore without feeling internal pain. It was too hard to move. My body said that it is not capable in that sense to do any heavy lifting on this type of diet. It was really hard for me to accept that this plant-based diet doesn't work for me. I was really in it with all of my heart. I loved veganism. I love animals to this very day. But I couldn't maintain it. I couldn't sustain myself. So I said, alright, let's do one more experiment. You have to do this. I look at my body as a pet. If my body needs certain foods, I owe it to my body. We as humans, we have different ideologies, ideas, concepts and philosophies. But our biology will tell a different story. Our biological needs need to be satisfied. If I would have a cat as a pet, I would feed it meat. That is just what it is. Cat is a carnivore. The cat deserves meat. That is just their biology, their anatomy. And therefore, me being convinced that we are plant eaters, of course it was initially hard to make that shift. But I said to myself, I have to keep an open mind and I have to experiment. I owe my body that much. So I progressed and I said, I'm gonna try raw fish. I'm gonna try sushi. The first time that I ate sushi, it was pretty disgusting, I have to say. I don't really like animal products to begin with, but raw fish is a different level. On top of that, I do have to admit that I felt catapulted back in time. It felt as if I had eaten sushi just a couple of days ago. All of those years of veganism just passed by. I felt really as if it never happened somehow. I ate the sushi. It wasn't easy. I still saw the dead animal in front of me, of course, and to this very day I still see it. But I came to terms with it. I said that I'm gonna experiment with sushi for 7 days. Guys, after 3 days of that experiment, I felt absolutely amazing. I cannot put in words how much more vital I felt, how much more centered I felt, how much more enthusiasm for life I got. It was absolutely mind-blowing. I didn't want to accept this. Believe me when I say that I went into this experimentation phase as a vegan. I wanted to try it out, see how this will go, and hopefully I would fail on this diet. I really wished for failure. I didn't want the fish or the eggs to work. Really, I'm not your classical ex-vegan that just jumps from eating vegetables to eating meat and now has a new identity as this carnivore guy. Not at all. I really went into it and I didn't want it to work. But it did work. It did work tremendously. After 3 days on fish, I felt reborn. This is not an exaggeration. I felt rejuvenated, reborn, filled with life again. When I look at my future, I look at it with absolute gratitude and enthusiasm. I look at my future and I cannot wait for the next day. Often nowadays I find myself laying in bed at night and waiting for the next day. I have so much gratitude towards life. To this very day, it is not easy to eat the fish. I still look at my plate and I do see flesh. I do see a dead animal. This won't change, I assume, and I don't really want it to change. When I'm eating vegan meals nowadays, I experience digestive issues straight away. On top of that, every time I eat and every time I ate vegan, I would feel this insatiable hunger. I would feel this hunger that couldn't be satisfied. No matter how much vegan food I would put in, I would just feel bloated and never really satisfied. I would always think about food. Now, when I eat sashimi, for example, which is just raw fish, I look at it, I see it is a creature, it is the flesh of a creature, I ingest it, it is not the most pleasurable experience. Let's say tofu scramble tastes better, but after that I experience this calmness and this satiation. It is not comparable to any plant food. Needless to say, it is not a plant, it is an animal that I ingest. Ethically, I still have some issues with it, but the body doesn't lie. Guys, for those of you that asked about supplementation, I've been supplementing DHA, EPA, vitamin D, so on and so forth. Technically, everything that you would find in the fish, I supplemented. And therefore, out of the vegan perspective, you would assume that there was no need for fish. But believe me when I say, I tried every single approach. I talked about this in previous videos. I supplemented everything that you might possibly find in fish. On top of that, I ate seaweed as well, every single day. I really gave it fair effort. On top of that, I just want to mention that I always track my macros and micros. Incorporating the fish, incorporating the eggs, I made sure that I'm not going to eat more calories, more protein, or more micronutrients. I'm eating the same, and I'm even eating less. On the vegan diet, I usually ate 3 meals in the end. Nowadays, I usually eat 2 meals. I'm on lesser calories, but on a higher micronutrient density. And that is the key for well-being. After this experimentation, I have to say that fish really agrees with me. I eat mainly raw fish. Sushi, sashimi. I eat fish eggs as well, caviar, and sometimes I do eat salmon steak, but not really often. 90% of my intake is raw fish. About the eggs, I have to say that I do not feel further benefits if I add eggs into my current diet of pescatarianism, if you will, even though I hate labeling. Ethically, I do have to admit that one who takes life cannot judge life forms as such. To be only a vegetarian or to be only a pescatarian doesn't really make sense in my world view. What is the difference between a fish and a cow? What is the difference between a chicken and an egg? For me, it is all a life form, and therefore once you get that bridge and you crossed over, so to speak, to limit yourself to another ideology again doesn't make sense for me. I'm not saying I'm going full-blown carnivore now. I do not know where this journey is going now, but I will experiment further and I will see what my body is looking for. I see in this movement a strong indoctrination and a disconnect to our true self. We stopped listening to our own bodies. Nowadays, everything just gets judged as anecdotal evidence. That's not worth it. Gregor, Dr. Gregor, he knows. Listen to that guy. Why would I? Why would I listen to that guy? Health-wise, everybody would agree. This man looks far from vibrant and healthy. That is just what it is. Of course, people will say that is because he goes through all the studies and he's researching all day. No, that is not it. You can clearly see a sick individual when you look at Dr. Gregor. That is just the case. I do not trust another man over my own biofeedback. We have to learn to come to terms with our own truths. We have to accept that our body has certain needs that cannot be satisfied with an indoctrination, with a dogma that another man created. Veganism is a beautiful philosophy, but if it doesn't suit your body, if it doesn't satisfy your needs, you will have to make a change. Alright guys, and that's it for today's video. If you liked it, leave me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. And guys, I really have to say, I appreciate the open-mindedness on this channel. 90% of the feedback has been positive. I really love being surrounded, even though it is only online of course, being surrounded by such people. It is an absolute pleasure to share my own journey and to see that it resonates with so many people. Of course, you will always have 10% that will spread negativity and hate, and you will always have people that are so far indoctrinated they cannot let go of their belief systems and that they cannot understand and respect that there are different subjective truths on this planet. Anyways, guys, this is it for today. As always, much love and peace.